Pick up this week's What's Up Shopper for a 10% off any service or repair coupon from the Ronaldo Auto Mall in Shelby. Offer good for up to $100 in parts and labor. But hurry, offer expires October 31st. Again, clip out the coupon in this week's What's Up Shopper for 10% off any parts or service up to $100. So hurry in now to the new Ronaldo Auto Mall, Highway 74 bypass east of Shelby, just below the Cleveland. Mall in Shelby. Check out the new storage buildings at the Roundup store in Shelby. Come see the new vinyl siding storage building and the new T111 wooden siding building. And the Roundup store's wooden buildings are built to last and last. And check out their line of beautiful kitchen cabinets. Make your dream kitchen a reality. The Roundup store, 1610 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Open 8:30 till 5:30 Monday through Friday, 8:30 till noon on Saturday. Online at roundupshelby.com.
Okay. '21, 146.
All right, we're back in business. We lost our audio, and now we got it back, it looks like, on the internet feed. Just in time for Shelby with a big 4th and forever with 1:34 to go. And, Coach, coming off a touchback where you got all that time to regroup and get your personnel on the field for a drive to tie it, Shelby comes out with 10 men on the field, snaps it without the quarterback looking. Of course, they got lucky and bailed out, but then on 1st and 15, it's a 10-yard sack, and then they just haven't been able to recover from that.
Well, absolutely, and again, it's a great Crest defense that they're trying to do this against. And I can tell you one thing: I am very glad that Shelby's not going to punt like Crest did against Shelby a few years back when they had to get a first down, and instead they decided to punt so that they wouldn't give up an additional score.
4th down, 25 for Shelby.
And to make it worse, we've got movement by one of the Shelby offensive linemen. So it's going to be ball back to about the 2.5 now.
Well, I've seen Shelby make 25 yards for a first down.
Now we just need about 27.5 now.
Haven't seen him do it against a defense quite like Crest, but I'm not going to say never.
Yeah, never say never. The trouble is he can't hold it long enough for people to run 30 yards downfield.
Well, he gets some protection, and he airs it out. It's complete over the middle to the 20, to the 25, down, just shy. Cavassier Shell goes down at the 28, had to get to the 30. And not again, a bad play.
Not a bad play, just too much to handle, and so Crest is going to take the ball, 1:24 left. Shelby out of timeouts. Now let's see how Crest handles this now.
1st and 10 at the Shelby 28. Crest, barring some craziness of fumbling a snap, is going to win this ball game 21-13. They're in the victory formation with Trey Harbison as the safety, and I look for Willie Green to snap it and take a couple of knees, and Crest to go 11-0 in the regular season. And it is a knee from Willie Green.
So about 2 more knees, and that will be the football game. And I tell you what, both teams were challenged tonight, and the Chargers overcame the challenge from the Golden Lions and have gotten a hard-fought 21-13 victory. And what an entertaining game for this last game for the conference championship.
And ball on the Shelby 30, and this is just cosmetics here. And another knee by Green, loses 3. And the Crest faithful on their feet, the Shelby faithful
mostly on their feet. It's been a hard-fought ball game, and nobody has any reason to be ashamed. And what both teams have to do from this is go on into their respective playoffs, because I tell you what, these are 2 good football teams.
2 excellent football teams, and 6 miles apart. You've got 2 of the best teams in their classifications in the entire state, and that's going to be it. The final knee by Willie Green, and Crest. Final score 21. Shelby 13 on the Medical Arts Pharmacy scoreboard. You've been listening to one heck of a ball game tonight here in Cleveland County. Back in 3 minutes for our post-game show. Again, Crest 21, Shelby 13.
over 100 years, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home in Falston has been providing services to families of our community with care and compassion. And now the Stamey Funeral Home has added the Cremation Center along with a new name, the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center. The Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center on Highway 182 in Falston, and the Stamey Funeral Home in Cherryville, located on Dixie Street in Cherryville, serving you with care and compassion in your time of need.
Here, lizard, lizard, lizard.
Oh no, it's total mayhem.
Hurry, call your good neighbor.
You can't. They're not even there.
Why, they can't even lend a good hand. Oh. Relax. At Pegram Insurance, we've got you covered. Pegram Insurance Agency, 220 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, and in the Town and Country Shopping Center in Lincoln. Considering hardwood flooring for your home? Then head to Flooring America in Kings Mountain or Carpet One Interiors in Ramlow. Right now at both locations, you'll find a big selection of in-stock hardwoods on sale, priced as low as $2.99 a square foot. That's right, only $2.99 a square foot at Flooring America, 602 Slater Street in Kings Mountain, and Carpet One Interiors in Ramlow.
We all hear about how good the barbecue is in Lexington, Greensboro, and in eastern North Carolina. But here in Cleveland County, we all know that the best barbecue is here. At Alston Bridges Barbecue, Kent and Linda Bridges and their family make sure the staple of their restaurant is the best barbecue. Your choice, pork, beef, or chicken, plus delicious sides, such as slaw, beans, fries, and hush puppies. The best since Alston and Mabel opened in 1955. Alston Bridges Barbecue, 620 Grover Street, right here in Shelby.
Hi, this is Woody Durham for Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies in Shelby. Through the years, I've seen a lot of trophies and plaques, and none appear nicer than those which come from Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies. Their guarantee is not just a guarantee, but a promise for courteous service, the absolute lowest price, quality products, on-time delivery, and most of all, your satisfaction. Awards for all occasions plus rubber stamps and engraving. That's Mark Dedman's Carolina Trophies in Shelby.
Former club members Denzel Washington and Jennifer Lopez for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Ball game here, Crest over Shelby 21-13. This is a ball game that Shelby led 13-0 late third quarter, actually under 2 minutes left, I think, in the third quarter. And then Crest with 21 unanswered wins 21-13. Coach, two great teams on the field tonight.
Well, we said that we were going to have the two best teams in the SMAC conference play, and we were hoping for a good ball game, and I tell you what, we got a good ball game. We here on the Shelby side were not happy with how it ended up, but I tell you what, if you're a football fan, you had to say that this was a great football game, and both sides played hard. Nobody gave an inch, and the Chargers came out victorious, and congratulations to them, scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter, 21 unanswered points after Shelby led 13-0 with about 5:25 left in the third quarter. But you know, what do you say? I mean, we watched two teams tonight that could definitely win state championships. And what Crest has to do from this point on is say, okay, we've been challenged, and now we're going to go out and we're going to get a number one seed, and we're going to take care of business. Shelby has to say, okay, we just had our last loss of the year, and we need to go out and win 5 games. Right now, it looks like Shelby is at the mercy of the dreaded draw or coin toss. Shelby could be anywhere from the 2nd to the 4th seed, and if Reedsville actually ends up in the West, which most people don't think they will, they could actually be as low as a 5 seed. And again, Shelby's ADM is such that we're not even completely positive that Shelby's going to be in the small 2A. There's a chance they may be in the large 2A, and if they're in the large 2A, well, not many people have even looked at that possibility. And so tomorrow will be a really interesting day, and tomorrow afternoon they will release the brackets, and it'll be a big weekend, big long weekend, a lot of work for coaches throughout the state of North Carolina because nobody has any idea who they're playing right now. But again, what a great football game. What a great football game between the two teams that are definitely, the class of the SMAC conference this year. And while Brent is trying to finish up the stats, I'm going to go ahead and give you my side of the stats and the Okie Tire game recap. With 6:28 left in the first half, Richard Wright hit a 35-yard field goal. Shelby led 3-0. With 1:04 left in the first half, Garyon Addison recovered a fumble in the end zone. Wright's extra point made it 10-0, and so at halftime the Golden Lions led 10-0. In the third quarter, with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left, Richard Wright kicked a 35-yard field goal, and Shelby led 13-0. With 1:30 left, Trey Harbison hauled in a 44-yard touchdown pass from, he hauled in a 44-yard touchdown pass. Trejo's point after touchdown made it 13-7. With 8:23 left in the game, Hopper had a 36-yard touchdown pass from Willie Green, and Trejo's extra point put Crest in the lead, 14-13. And then with 2:39 left, the straw that broke the camel's back, Trey Harbison had a 79-yard touchdown run, and Trejo's point after made it 21-13. Again, an exceptionally exciting ball game. Shelby had 13 first downs and was guilty of 6 penalties, had 2 turnovers. Crest had 11 first downs, were guilty of 8 penalties, and had 1 turnover. And just a highly exciting game, especially a game that only had a total of 34 points scored. But now looking back at it, what you saw were 2 pretty dominant defenses, and it just looked like the momentum switched over to Crest. Shelby made a couple of just almost made some great plays, and unfortunately they just got over the fingertips, and Crest made the plays that they needed to. And again, congratulations to the Chargers, and also congratulations to the Shelby Golden Lions. And so, Brent, have you had enough time to finish up the Chris McDaniel All-State Insurance stats?
I have. We'll start with the Crest Chargers. Now here's the stat I was just telling you off the air. Trey Harbison had 22 carries for 58 yards, but he had 23 carries for 137 yards, which means his last carry was a 79-yard touchdown, and it took his total from 58 to 137 just like that. But you got to say, gosh, Shelby kept him to under 3 yards a carry for the first 22. Can't keep a good man down for too long. After that, it was Traquan Hopper, 1 carry for 7 yards, and Willie Green lost 43 yards on 8 carries. So Crest with 101 yards on 32 carries, and 79 of that on 1 play. Willie Green, 9 for 15, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cameron Peeler, 0 for 1. Traquan Hopper had 6 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Trey Harbison, 1 catch for 45 yards and a touchdown. Preston Husky, 1 catch for 12 yards. Devontae Husky, 1 catch for 10 yards. So Crest, 101, rushing 131, passing for a 232 total. Shelby, Chad Reed, 106 yards on 21 carries. Buck Ushery, 4 carries for 8 yards. Garyon Addison, 1 carry for 19 yards. R.J. George lost 43 yards on 12 carries. So both quarterbacks lose 43 yards tonight. Shelby with 90 yards total on 38 carries. And R.J. George, 15 of 21, 142 yards passing. Leading receiver, Cavassier Shell, 6 catches for 78 yards. Jaden Borders had 5 catches for 29 yards. Chad Reed, 2 catches for 25 yards. And Buck Ushery, 2 catches for 10 yards. Shelby with 90 on the ground, 142 in the air. also with 232 total yards.
So both teams had 232 yards for the night, and it was, and that just tells you it was that close. I mean, the game was that close, and I would say the big difference is that Crest had 3 big plays. They had 3 big plays. They had a 30-some-yard touchdown pass, a 40-some-yard touchdown pass, and a 79-yard touchdown run. But that's part of the game, and they are to be congratulated. And I tell you what, nobody that paid to get in this game can say that they didn't get their money's worth. It was a great game, befitting 2 teams that could go deep in the playoffs, and I dare say that if both teams take care of business and play as hard as they did tonight, we could have 2 teams in the state championship game, one at Raleigh and one at Wake Forest, and the Golden Lions would be in a position to play at Wake Forest if they got that far. But that's a long way in the distance, and what we mentioned earlier is Shelby can't dwell too long on this one.
Well, what this game does is it gives you one heck of a test right before the playoffs start. You're playing your teams like Drawn, and I'm not trying to downplay teams like that, but those kind of teams are outmatched by Shelby and Crest by quite amount of talent on the field, and you get a game like this, it's almost a state champion caliber type game. You're going to go in the playoffs battle tested and ready, as long as you come out healthy. And so we'll have to get the injury report from Coach Ware this week to see if Shelby did indeed come out healthy. We saw Nick Pugh banged up a little bit, a couple other guys with some cramps, but I didn't see anybody off the field that looked pretty serious. Let's hope.
Yeah, I would say the most important thing is that it looked like both teams had all their major players out there, at the end of the football game. And I have to agree with you 100% about how important this type of game is, because there are not a lot, for Shelby's perspective, especially, there's not a lot of 2A teams that have played a team of the caliber of Crest. And both Crest and Shelby, to be quite honest, they needed a game where they were forced to play with all they had for 4 quarters, because, Shelby was in a game early in the year where they didn't play particularly well, and they went out to the very end and lost to South Point. Other than that, I think we might have gotten late in the 4th quarter against AC Reynolds, but we pretty much had that game won. We felt that unless there was some kind of major mess up at the very end, we were going to win that game. But the Golden Lions hadn't been in any danger in the 4th quarter this year. The Crest hadn't been in any danger in a game this year, and so this is definitely something that both teams could build upon.
No doubt about it. A great game, great test for both teams, great preparation for the playoffs, which start next week. And I'll tell you, tomorrow is always a fun day. Sometime around midday, the first edition of the playoff seedings will come out. Undoubtedly, Coach, there's going to be a couple revisions, and then we'll get the final seeding sometime in early to late afternoon, and then everybody can start their projections and seeing who you got and what road you might have to go on, and what area teams you might match up with, and what rivalries might be renewed in the playoffs and that kind of thing. So it's a fun Saturday from that regard. Before we get there, let's talk about our players of the game tonight. And there's a lot of, candidates tonight. We'll start with special teams, player of the game, sponsored by Enloe Mortuary.
Well, I think what a great night by Richard Wright. I mean, he had some fantastic punts, and it's just a shame that last punt he had dropped back the Chargers all the way up to the 3. But then the Chargers had a 97-yard drive and won the game after that 97-yard drive. But then he had 2 35-yard field goals. Just a really solid night for Richard Wright. And you could also have given it to Delvin Mitchell, who made a touchdown saving tackle at the end of the first half that kept Shelby up 10-0. But I think Richard Wright is very well deserving.
2 35-yard field goals, 1 for 1 on extra points. great punting all night, including that one inside the Charger 3. And in a pressure situation, his first start at Crest, and he played fantastic time.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Richard Wright just scored more points against Crest than anybody else this year.
He may have. And he's our Enlow Mortuary Special Teams Player of the Game. Defensive Player of the Game, sponsored by the J. Morgan Company. Got a feeling it might be number 4, but you can make a play for 9.
It's got to be 4 or 9 because Steve DeGree helps us out, and he's got G9 with 3 unassisted tackles and 5 assisted tackles in that 1 touchdown, and he's got Husky with 2 unassisted and 3 assists and 2.
Merchandise's beautiful furniture with bedroom.
Hey, Husky were just both awesome.
They were. So our co-defensive players of the game, sponsored by the J. Morgan Company, Garyon Addison and Clay Husky, 2 seniors on the defensive front, 7. Our offensive player of the game, sponsored by Carolina Energies, and I'm going to go, how about Cavassier Shell? 6 catches for 78 yards. It's a tough call there. Maybe even R.J. George, is 15 to 21, under pressure a lot tonight. Which way you want to go?
Well, I'll tell you what. Again, I know this is probably the wrong thing to do, but let's give it to both those guys. I mean, because I know who I think needs to have the overall player of the game, no doubt. But, again, both those guys, Cavassier made so many 4-yard, 8-yard, 10-yard catches, and as soon as he caught the ball, he was just absolutely nailed, and he held on to it. And then he gained 26 yards, and we needed 27.5 on that last offensive play. And so I think you got to give it to both of them because the play that I will always remember is the play that R.J. George made where he got out of 2 sacks, rolled to his left, and made a perfect pass that got us down to the 20 and set us up for that field goal to go up 13-0. So I think they both deserve that one.
Yeah, and that pass to Cavassier Shell for 27 yards.
Yes.
So our Carolina Energy's offensive players of the game, R.J. George and Cavassier Shell, and then our overall player in the game, sponsored by S&R Auto Sales, and I'll let you take the lead.
Well, how about Chad Reed with 100? What was his
106.
106 yards rushing and how much receiving?
Had 2 catches for 25 yards, so 131 total.
Well, he just had more yards against Crest than I think probably 6 teams did this year. And,
if not more.
And again, you've got to give some major props to the Shelby offensive line because there was room to run. Chad Reed ran hard, but there was some room to run, and RJ was under pressure. But this is by far the best defense that we've run up against, and I had some questions about how well our offensive line would hold up against this crowd, and especially through over 3 quarters, the offensive line did a great job. But when you get down to your 5, your 6, and you got to throw it, and they're edge guys who I hadn't seen anybody block all night, but we blocked them a little bit tonight. I got to really say it. Mike Wilbanks and the offensive coaches have done a great job with that offensive line.
No doubt about it, and Shelby really playing their best football. They lost to a team that might be at least favored to represent the western side of the state in the 3A or 3AA state championship this year, maybe win the whole thing. And Shelby went toe-to-toe with them on their home field. Great preparation going into the playoffs next week where Shelby's going to be at home. Just depends on who the opponent is. We talked about how cool this rivalry is and the 2 guys listening in tonight. Then you look down the field, and I'm seeing Trey Harbison and Demario Houston taking pictures together on the field. They're cousins.
Absolutely.
You got cousins playing against each other. One of them's got 11 interceptions. The other one's leading the county in rushing. And, here they are taking pictures after a hard-fought, emotional ball game.
And we've got parents that played for Shelby who have sons that are playing for Crest, and parents that played for Crest that have sons playing for Shelby. And you got Chesley Borders, who was a great receiver for Crest, and now we've got Jaden Borders, who's an equally great receiver for Shelby. You had Eric Peeler, who just had his single-season interception record broken, and I hope that I'm not wrong, but I think the Peeler young man who's the backup quarterback, I think he's one of Eric's sons, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I know he's at least kin to him, and so it is an amazing rivalry, and I can speak firsthand. I happened to be on the first Crest team to beat Shelby way back in 1980, but I have gotten over that. Bleed gold and black now, but, it's just, we've got people that have coached on both sides of this rivalry. We had brothers that coached against each other, in this rivalry, and so it is a very unique rivalry. Well, I'll tell you what, Brent, I want to ask you a favor. I want you to text me when you find out what the situation is as far as the brackets are concerned, because if you want to find me, I'm going to be at the Carolina Pottery Festival tomorrow over at Cleveland Community College at the LeGrand Center, and so I'll look forward to hearing from you when you let me know when those brackets come out. And if anybody wants to come see me, come out and see some great pottery at the Carolina Pottery Festival. And so my wife's going to be really nice to me now that I threw that little plug in about the Carolina Pottery Festival.
Well, a great ball game here tonight at Sid Bryson Stadium. Two championship caliber teams. Hopefully they can represent Cleveland County deep into the playoffs, if not all the way to state championships. And we'll be there every step of the way with your Golden Lions starting next Friday night at Black Memorial Stadium. Jeff and I will be on the air.
Can't tell you who they'll play, but we can tell you they'll definitely be at home, and it will also be senior night. That was the senior night was basically rained out last week, and so they decided to go ahead and in that first round of the playoffs.
So senior night next week at Shelby High.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you one more time. That's Eric's cousin. It's not his son, and so again, I was right. He is some kin. He's just not his son.
So next Friday night, 7 o'clock airtime for our Cleveland Regional Medical Center in-stadium pregame show. It'll be Jeff and I. We'll have Steve with us. We'll have a cameraman. We won't have a cameraman. We'll be only on the radio, cannot video during the playoffs. So you'll have to listen on 1390 AM or on KTC Broadcasting, and it'll be Jeff and I. So for Jeff, for Austin Bishop, and for Steve DeGree tonight, this is Brent Pasca signing off and sending you over to the studio for, I'm sure, what's going to be an entertaining postgame show with the fellas. We'll see you next week.